Jog on, mutants. Welcome back. Streebo here with you from mutantville.com. Figured I'd bring you another MVP vlog update. Last time out, I went on one of my major tirades about whatever, about how independent artists and independent filmmakers have to be self-sufficient. So, for anybody that thought I delved too much into negative, I'm going to swing the pendulum back over to the positive today by having a shout out video because I would like to recognize you know, some of the countless people that actually have helped out MVP. Now, it's been a 10-year journey, and probably you can tack, 10 to 15 years on in front of that, just getting us to the point where MVP started and then carrying on with that trial, the trials and tribulations, so to speak. So, but when I go on one of my rants about how nobody will help you, you have to remember that it, this the the adjunct to it would be that nobody will help you except for perhaps maybe 20 or so people you meet. So those 20 people that do help you, always be loyal to them, always be true, and always appreciate whatever they do for you. And, whatever little bit of help, whether it was a little or a lot that people give to me, I always try to hold on to forever. So if you ever did anything for me, I will try to be loyal to the end. But without further ado, let's get into a few shout outs. Let's start first with the Comics Conspiracy, which was my old comic book shop, which they were the first ones to give us an actual location. When they said you could shoot something in the comic shop, that was it. We went and wrote a script, and that's how C for Chaos was born. That's how it all started. Definitely want to give out a big shout out to Fast Custom Shirts and T-Shirt Joe. Um, with the majority of these, you can just check them out by either Googling in their name or just going to the www version of their name, which in this case would be fastcustomshirts.com, where Joe has posted our shirts on his websites over the years, and he's helped promote our brand and also send people to our website, and he's cool like that, and he believes in supporting independent filmmakers. He's just a lover of cinema and stories in particular, and beer and probably tequila too, and he's just an all-around badass dude. So thank you, T-Shirt Joe. We appreciate it. Um, Got to send a shout out to our buddy Kenny at the Myers House NC, who's welcomed MVP at the annual Myers House Halloween bashes every year, and of course, welcomed us onto his premises to shoot part of Tales from Mutantville Volume 1, which was Scarecrow at Midnight, which we had an absolute blast with, which for people who are interested in our slasher work, right now Tales from Mutantville has the what I think is our best slasher story, Scarecrow at Midnight. I mean, personally, I don't know what I can do better than that right now. I could expand upon that one, but not, I don't want to keep rehashing slasher flicks. But anyway, before I digress, Exploited Cinema, the first guys to invite us on their podcast for an interview. They brought me on. At one point, they brought Vanell on, who plays Mutitia the Movie Goddess. And they've just helped promote our work over the years. The first episode I did with Bat32 and J-Dog was the Halloween episode. Also Axel from Profondo Cinema was on there. It was just fun. We had a big roundtable discussion of heavy metal horror, and it was craziness. I learned about Thor. I went on a crazy Thor kick after that. So after watching Rock and Roll Nightmare and listening to all of his songs on YouTube, and crazy guy. But anyway, we went on from there. Bloodbaths and Boomsticks. Tim Gross was kind enough to go on and review both Ghost and Tales from Mutville on his website, Gross Movie Reviews. Um, I enjoyed talking to those guys about Nightbreed. They also invited me on for a regular show. I got to talk about the Eliminators, and Tim Gross talked about the car, and we had a good time. So, I appreciate those guys, and John Smallberries, Tim Gross. And the irony, Corey G was actually a member of Bloodbath and Boomsticks when I first went over there, but he wasn't on for the episode that I was on. So, funny how that worked out, because I eventually got to join Corey G on the Vault of Mysterious Information, which was a lot of fun, and we hosted several different topics. Big shout out to B Junior for being one of the first guys to do a video review of Scarecrow at Midnight. B Junior over at Endurance Productions here on YouTube. You can find them at the regular YouTube URL /Endurance Productions. very down to earth, great guy, lover of cinema, all of the above. I always enjoy his insights and the wisdom that he shares. So good stuff. Now, I'm not going to be able to keep throwing out superlatives for everybody here. I'm just going to do just a few and then just roll on through into shout out land because we can't make this video going forever. The guys at House of Horror, Critic Nick and Jay the Stingray, reviewed Scarecrow at Midnight. Greg Mortis, Bill Shetty at Land of the Creeps. Very cool, very fun podcast. They had me on for the Halloween episode. They also hosted Scarecrow at Midnight on one of their shows. Fright Night Film Fest, the Fandom Fest, by welcoming us to their convention, allowing us to do interviews and shoot videos there, and just kind of giving us free reign of the place. We really appreciate it. The Mad Monster Party for coming to Charlotte and making us feel welcome, and we were happy to do our part to help them kind of connect with the indie film community, and they've been just such a huge help to just through what they've empowered us to do with the Mad Monster Party Film Festival. They've been a huge help to just independent film in general because they've given us a chance to showcase these independent films that we find every year. And so far, we've played probably 80 different films and given those filmmakers absolutely free of charge a chance to play their movies to these 10,000, 15,000 guests that came to check out the Mad Monster Party that weekend. So good times, very cool. Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. But sometimes that just happens. Heroes Convention, they always let us come and shoot videos and interviews there. The Horror Society, they help repost our media releases from time to time. The guys over at Behind the Mask, I know they've played our ad for MVP Mutant Radio on their show. Our friends over at Dalliance Films here in Charlotte, they do a monthly newsletter, and several times they've mentioned, Mutantville works and whatnot, and they do their own thing, their kind of comedy kind of stuff that they do. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I definitely say check them out. Our buddy Doc Rotten, formerly of Doc Rotten's House of Horror, now he's at docrotten.com, and he's also a regular contributor to horrornews.net and is an official host of the official horrornews.net podcast. So kudos to him, but cool guy who will review indie films and whatnot. Our friends over at Mad Ones Films are always sending traffic our way with their banners and whatnot. Last but not least, now actually the first time I was ever on a podcast, it was actually on the Old Dead Pitch Show when they had a call-in episode, and I called in and I talked to CK and Uncle Bill. Had a good time. I always appreciated those guys letting me at least join them on the call-in show and plugging the website at mutantville.com, and they've always let me use their forum to interact with people there, so appreciate that. And one last shout out probably to my old buddy Schlogs. Unfortunately, I don't get to talk to too much anymore, and plus he's like deleted all of his blogs and Twitter and whatnot, and then came back under his real name of Matt Renses, and now he writes for places like Ropes of Silicon and other things like that. I think he's also got a podcast, the Wayne Gale Variety Show, and every now and then he pops up on Profundo Cinema, but he used to promote us a little bit on Twitter, though he would never watch the movies, even when there were HD versions online. I could say, hey, check this out online. He couldn't be bothered to watch any one of them, but but we had to go our separate ways. Not because he wouldn't watch the movies, whatever. That's on him. But he had the temerity to, in the same day, bash not only Chuck Norris, but Back to the Future. And I just couldn't take it. I just thought, you know what? I don't need to read his Twitter ever again. This is what you're going to do with it. Though, when he's talking about movies, I usually enjoy whatever he has to say. So, there you go. When I say nobody will help you, nobody except for these 20 or so people you find along the way. Take advantage of it. Be grateful to them. Try to show some loyalty, and just treat everybody cool. Be cool with one another, and hopefully everything will turn out all right. And we'll keep doing our thing at MVP. And if you want more of it, you can find it at mutantville.com. See you there, guys.